Have you ever wondered what it takes to get rich? What if I told you I could make it way easier for you than you ever imagined it could be? Would you stick with me for one more minute? Getting rich doesn't require any of the things that most people think it does. If making a lot of money was the key, then how did Ronald Reed, a janitor, build up a net worth of $8 million without ever earning a high income, inheriting any money, or winning the lottery? And for that matter, if making a lot of money was the key, then how did celebrities like Mike Tyson end up filing for bankruptcy after earning hundreds of millions of dollars? If being smart and going to college was the key to becoming rich, and why are doctors such notoriously bad investors? And if winning the lotto or inheriting money was the answer, then why would almost a third of lottery winners go bankrupt within 5 years of winning? Because these are not the keys to getting rich. This is Ethan with Fundamentals of Finance. I'm a CFA Charterholder and investment professional, and if you'd stick with me for the rest of this video, I'm going to show you how you can retire with over 4 times as much money as the average person who makes the same amount as you do. And the best part is that you don't have to have an advanced college degree, start a business, or waste your time on some long shot gimmicky side hustle. It's something you can do starting today with almost no time or effort needed ever, with nothing more than what you'll learn in this video. One of the greatest investors of all time, Warren Buffett, was spot on when he said, "You don't need to have extraordinary effort to achieve extraordinary results. You just need to do the ordinary, everyday things exceptionally well." If that sounds simple, it can be. There's a reason that most people don't achieve extraordinary results, and even if they do put in extraordinary effort. That's where we get to the psychology of money. Understanding how our brains trick us into making bad decisions with our money is the key difference between a janitor who becomes wealthy and the celebrity who goes bankrupt. Not only do we have to establish good habits, but we have to stick to them, even when it's hard. It's kind of like starting a diet. You can say you're going to stop eating out, cut out alcohol, and so forth and so on. But then what do you do when your boss invites you to happy hour? Investing is similar. It would be very easy for me to tell you to, let's go invest 15% of every paycheck in the stock market and forget about it until you retire. Yeah, but what happens when the market crashes over 22% in one day, like it did in 1987? What do you do? That brings us to the first way our brains trick us into making bad decisions with our money. You see, money is very emotional. We need it for survival. So when it seems to be at risk, our survival instincts kick in. These instincts have been deeply ingrained into us through thousands of years of evolution. And in most of life, they're still really helpful. If your house is on fire, you could probably get out of there as quickly as possible. But investing works the opposite of pretty much everything else in life. We feel fear when the market is down and we're losing money. So our instinct is to get away from what's scaring us and sell out of the stock market. There's just one problem. When the market is down a lot is often the worst time to sell. On the other side, we feel greed, or what's more commonly referred to these days as FOMO, fear of missing out, when we see our friends making a lot of money in the latest meme stock or whatever it happens to be. But after something has gone up a lot is often the worst time to buy. Unlike most things in life, the stock market is cyclical. Over the long run, it always goes up. But in the shorter periods, like a day, a month, or even multiple years, it can go down. You never know what's going to happen next. It's always emotional. It always feels worst at the bottom and best at the top, leading you to do exactly the opposite of what you should be doing. News headlines certainly don't help, though what happens is once the market goes up, we feel like it's safe to invest, or we feel like we're missing out on all the gains our friends are getting and we want to get in on the action. But then the market goes down. At first, we're okay, but as the losses pile up, we get more and more scared, and the headlines get more and more negative. Our instinct is to sell out, to get away from the thing that's threatening our survival, and wait until it feels safe again to go back in. But when does it feel safe again? Only after it's gone back up a lot. So what we end up doing is buying high and selling low, and buying high and selling low. That's one of the key ways our brains tricks us into making terrible decisions with our money. We're just using our basic instincts, which are right with most things in life, but they're usually wrong when it comes to investing. That's why Warren Buffett said, be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. The next way our brains trick us into making bad decisions with our money is by causing us to assume past results will repeat themselves. All throughout our lives, we choose movies, restaurants, consumer products, pretty much everything else based on star ratings. And it usually works out pretty well. When you go see Top Gun Maverick tomorrow, it's going to be exactly the same movie as it was when everyone else watched it. When you buy a highly rated microwave, it's going to be the same one everyone else got. When you go to a highly rated restaurant, they're going to use the same ingredients and recipes for you that they used for everyone who gave it a 5-star review. Star ratings are always based on the past, but unlike everything else, when it comes to investing, your experience will not be the same as what happened in the past. The market is always changing. Whether it's looking at a fund's star rating, which is based on its 3, 5, and 10-year past performance, or whether it's just looking directly at past performance to determine if something is done well and you want to buy it, it's essentially the same thing. This approach has been proven not to work. Let's say there are 100 ETFs in a Morningstar category. If the stock market has been going up a lot over the past 10 years, the most aggressive funds are likely to have done the best. But the stock market is cyclical, remember? So if it's been going up a lot for a long time, what's likely to happen at some point in the future? It's probably going to go down. And if it goes down, do you want to be in the most aggressive ETF? No. So a fund can be a 5-star fund because the portfolio managers are amazing, and that can be repeatable. Or it can be a 5-star fund because it got lucky and the market was in its favor. That's probably not repeatable. The point is, past results and star ratings on their own really don't tell you much. Choosing your investments the same way you choose restaurants or movies or TVs has been proven not to work. Few people understand this. So, how can you use this information to become very rich and retire with 4 times as much money as someone else who makes the same amount as you do? Let me show you. First, let's take a look at the impact of the bad decisions like the ones we've been talking about. This chart from Morningstar shows how the investor return on the left has been worse than the return on the investments in the middle in every single category. How do investors earn worse than the thing that they're actually invested in? Because of bad timing due to the things that we've been talking about. At the bottom, you can see how on average, these asset classes earned 7.71%, but the investors in them only earned 6.04%. Here, we can see how much the average person contributes to their 401k based on income level. With these two things in mind, I'm going to take you through a little example to show you how incredibly simple it can be to build tremendous wealth, even at a very modest income level. I'm going to flash this up briefly so you can pause on it if you want to see the whole thing. But to make it easier to read, I'm going to zoom in and just focus on the top and bottom parts. Here, we have a comparison of 2 people. They both earn $40,000 a year and get a 3% raise each year from age 22 to 65. On the left, we have a person who has healthy saving and investing habits. They don't do anything special. All they do is invest the recommended 15% of their income toward retirement every year, starting at 22, when they earn the average return on the assets we saw from the Morningstar study, 7.71%. Basically, All they do is put a simple plan in place and stick to it. It sounds simple, and it should be. But we know our emotions can make it hard to actually stick to a plan. On the right, we have a person who's the same age, makes the same amount of money, and starts investing at the same time. The only differences are that they earn the average investor's return from the Morningstar study, 6.04%, and they invest the average amount of investors who make between $30,000 to $50,000 per year, according to the Vanguard study. That's a savings rate of 5.5%. And there you go. The person who invested the recommended 15% per year and didn't fall into the traps that the average investor gets caught up in was able to retire with over $3 million. That's more than 4 times as much as the investor on the right who just did what average investors do. Of course, the 7.71% return is based on all the asset classes, including bonds. If the investor had earned an average long-run stock market return of around 10%, they would have actually ended up with more like $6 million. Not only is this possible, it's easy. All you really have to do is 2 things: establish healthy habits and stick to the plan. Like I said before, though, just like a diet, coming up with a plan is simple, sticking to it is hard. In our example here, the person on the left invested the generally recommended 15% per year in their retirement account. A diversified portfolio of stock mutual funds or ETFs, or even just one global one, is probably all you need. Don't overthink it. Spending hours per week poring over balance sheets or reading economic headlines is not likely to lead to better returns. Probably worse, actually. Only do that if investing is your passion. Sticking to the plan is the hard part, but it is absolutely crucial to your long-term success. So here's a simple tip to get you started. Set up automatic monthly investments. For humans, it requires effort to make a change. We're mentally predisposed to take the path of least resistance. So if your status quo is not to make a monthly investment, and you have to remember to do it each month, then there's a good chance you won't. However, if the money goes into your investment account automatically, then it will require greater effort not to make the investment, and you're much more likely to establish a regular, healthy habit of investing. The added mental bonus here is that once you know you've got your savings and investments coming out of your paycheck automatically, you don't have to feel guilty about spending the rest of your money in your paycheck. It really doesn't even matter what you spend it on, as long as you've paid yourself first. Regular saving and investing doesn't mean never spending any money or having any fun. It just means paying yourself first. Even at a low income level, you can do that. Now you have the basic tools you need to not only create a plan that can build significant long-term wealth, but more importantly, stick to it. Building wealth is not about being the smartest, making the most money, or being born with a silver spoon in your mouth. All you have to do is implement sound investing habits and avoid the mental pitfalls that steer people the wrong way. I'm here to help. This video is the first in a series where I'll be showing you how to recognize and overcome the most common ways our brains stop us from making good financial decisions, whether by leading us to make bad investments, develop bad spending habits, or allowing us to get tricked by clever sales and marketing schemes. If you really want to develop the mindset of a great investor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Oh, and by the way, if you want to continue the investment conversation, check out the link in the description to join my free Discord, where you'll get direct access to my partner Kyle and I, along with a community full of people just like you who are looking to become better investors.